From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big day here on Early Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2020. Direct from Santa Monica, California. Here we go. The recon is going to a vote in the House of Representatives and will be passed. And that incredible recon will pay you a lot of money. The vote is happening, Nancy Pelosi confirms, by the end of this week, but potentially could happen today. And that vote will happen whether or not they have a Congressional Budget Office report done or not. The details are deliciousness, as that recon will pay you a lot of money. How much is it? Upwards of $15,000 just to start, and more checks could be coming thereafter on the Senate side. Meantime, fourth stimulus is being preempted by third stimulus, which still has $45,000 being paid out to the average viewer across this channel. Then we'll be turning to the excitement of student loan debt forgiveness as more debt could be forgiven across the board. That is $10,000. We'll be turning over to fifth stimulus, which is needed right after that COLA raise of 5.9%. We got a big, bold, beautiful broadcast today. Because guess what? The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and guess what? Maybe I'll get lucky and get some bacon in this recording. It's a big, bold, beautiful early mornings broadcast, and I'm excited you're here. This, my friends, is the excitement and the finish line as that recon goes to the end. And this is Early Mornings LALATE, starting right now. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day across the board and get ready for some student loan debt forgiveness. $10,000 is being offered across the board. All the details, fifth stimulus coming up in January. This is big as that 5.9% increase of COLA is coming up first. But right before that, we're going to turn to the exciting details of what's going on right now. As even if a Congressional Budget Office report is not ready, we have a vote set. That vote will happen as early as today, if not the end of the week, for that incredible recon. House deal done. And here we go. What is that going to pay? It's going to pay a lot. On average, about $15,000 across this incredible recon. I have all those details and more as we go into a big, bold, beautiful broadcast because the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and at least I got a little bit of digital bacon. I got some digital bacon because you're not bringing me the real thing. And this, my friends, is LALATE, America's most talked about financial news channel. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Morning's Countdown at 7 a.m. You don't want to miss that show. Then we go into a big, bold, beautiful Mornings LA live on air at 9 a.m. And with that, subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member to the best darn channel with all the incredible details. We got a lot going on in this recording today. We're going to go over this incredible recon first. That pays you a lot of money. Then we're going to go over the voting process, then back over each of those checks one at a time. Then we'll be turning back to third stimulus that pays you a lot of money, and it's paying you thousands of dollars today. If you make the effort to make the phone calls, you're going to get it. And then we turn over to fifth stimulus and student loan debt. And with that, let's get right into the details. The big details as we go into a big morning broadcast starting right now is that this recon is going to pay you a lot of money. This fourth stimulus recon across all these incredible clusters of checks will pay you on average about $15,000. How do we know this? Because when we did third stimulus, I said I can get you about $15,000 from third stimulus. Average viewer of this channel got $45,000 from third stimulus. Now into fourth stimulus, same programs are back and more. So at least there's going to be $15,000 across all these incredible clusters. So get ready. Let's go over broadly the clusters of those checks starting right now. 3 clusters, 2 add-ons, and 1 being pushed to add on top of that. And the first cluster we're going to go over starts with Hazard Pay. Hazard Pay got in there, earned income tax credit back-end check for my essential workers, $4,000 of elder care for my seniors, and also for caring for young children. Then they got money in there for the home repairs. That is big. That is free money for repair of the low-income community homes. They got money in there of $550 checks for the Pell Grant recipients, and then $12,500 for the purchase price of a new electric vehicle U.S. auto manufacturer. Finally, the child tax credit continued for one more year. That is a front-end check. Wow. The first add-on comes right after that. But so far in that first cluster, you're seeing about $5,000 of checks in that first cluster. Let's go to the first add-on. And that first add-on is free money to go buy a home. What? Yes, free money to go buy a home. And Maxine Waters got the incredible provision in there. She wanted $25,000. She got a little bit less. This is money to purchase of your first home. It is huge, and that is one of the most exciting provisions of this recon. The second exciting provision of this recon is these home repairs, and I got another one for you in the second cluster. Here we go. They got paid leave in there, front-end check. They got the household tax credit, back-end check. They got pre-kindergarten, front-end check, and then they got the money to weatherize your home. People are saying, oh, weatherize your home, you mean that means a Christmas tree in the front lawn and some poinsettia plants. Poinsettia? Do you say poinsettia or poinsettia? Do you say apples or tomatoes or tomatoes? No, that is winterizing your home, not weatherizing your home. We're doing weatherize your home, not winterize your home. This is not the Home and Garden channel. Well, at least it's not until, until Holidays Ally comes back. But there you go. That is incredible details. Let's go to the second add-on. It comes from Bob Casey, that wonderful senator from Pennsylvania. That second add-on is free home health care if you're a senior or person on disability. I'm excited for you. This is a biggie. My seniors and people who are on disabilities, you get this incredible provision. It's a covered benefit. He wanted $250. It's going to be a little bit less. There we go. Let's go to the third clusters of checks, and wow, they are deliciousness. Those third clusters of checks start the following: free school meals for all checks, then cheaper prescription medication, immigration reform, free internet, farmers, and then we got workers, and then Medicare expansion. Okay, the Medicare expansion is fascinating. 2 provisions they got in there on the House side, and then 3 then they go in on the Senate side. What's going on here? So the House bill will have the hearing aid, and will also have the Medicaid gap states. I'll explain that later in this video. The Senate side will have the dental and vision and the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare added across the board. How do you get all this money? Where do you get this money from? Stay with me. Later in this video, I'm going to show you the eligibility on all these incredible clusters of checks, each one at a time. Which brings us to the third add-on. And of course, that third add-on is that wonderful MSC, standing for multiple or monthly IRS stimulus check. Well, last time the legislators talked about this, they said $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months. Eligibility is the same as the third stimulus. Third stimulus eligibility was the following: $75,000 or less, single individual. Married couple, $150,000 or less, double it. Then a family of 4, SSI, SSDI, people on disabilities, people on adult dependents, all covered across the board. It's not in the House bill. It will not be in the House bill. Senate has the opportunity to add it, and those 6 senators have said they would add it. Those 6 senators have told viewers over the last few weeks they're at it are the ones you need to advocate with. The 2 C's, the 2 W's, and the 2 S's. Sanders Schumer, Warren Wyden, Casey Coons. Dedicate one day to each letter to call. 2 calls per day. What's important to understand is that the MSC has 2 opportunities on the Senate to be added: Senate Votorama or Senate Subcommittee. Senate Subcommittee is when they send the legislation over to the Senate, and they do things working up in the subcommittee. Very important because they have a lot of work to do. Senate Votorama, also very important at the very end of the process, 2-day process in which they can add stuff in there. What's important to understand is that this recon is wonderful. It's wonderful, paying out at least $15,000 across the board. But what's equally wonderful, and very surprisingly that it is so wonderful, is that third stimulus is still paying money, thousands of dollars. You need to have your rent paid, your utilities, your mortgage, your food, your clothing, your holiday meals, your small appliances, your window broken, then get it from third stimulus or the nonprofits. How do you get it? It's coming up in this video. You could start this week with 0 and potentially do what Johnny did. He ended the week at $80,000 from third stimulus. Not unusual occurrence. The average viewer of this channel has gotten $45,000. We ain't tracking checks on this channel. We're cashing checks. And if you can end this week with thousands of dollars in your hand, it's a game changer. And you absolutely can. Coming up the second half of this video, we'll go over all the dramatics that are unfolding. Guess what? It's very, very exciting. And Nancy Pelosi is holding her promise. Her promise is that the vote will be happening by the end of this week. Could happen today. We're going to watch what Steny Hoyer says. This is that deal that Nancy Pelosi got done 2 weeks ago between the moderate Democrats and House Democrats. That CBO report likely not going to be finished before the recon is called for a vote on the House side. No worries. But what's important is that you have that pen and paper ready. Put down the bagel and put down the cream cheese and get that pen, because I want you learned about all the sums of money. It's first come, first serve. First come, first serve. Hawk. You want to pounce and get this money before anyone else, because it's diminishing funds. $15,000, it may be more than that, even so. Student loan debt forgiveness, more debt could be forgiven, and then fist stimulus coming right behind that colo raise. You want to get that incredible sums of money. We got those details and more as a big, bold, beautiful early mornings broadcast continues direct from Santa Monica. I'll see you in 60 seconds, but first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on early morning continuation. Programs that will pay you about $15,000 are getting passed by the House of Representatives as a vote is set as early as today, but as late as this Friday. That is the result of a House deal, and that House deal will be solidified despite the absence of Congressional Budget Office report of all the latest details in the second half of this video. Then we'll be turning to the exciting details of a student loan debt forgiveness. $10,000 could be forgiven across the board. I have the latest details on that as the toast is toasting and the butter is buttering. But guess what? Fifth stimulus is also heating up. That fifth stimulus is definitely needed across the board, as that 5.9% COLA raise is coming in January. But get ready for that, because a fifth stimulus is needed right behind that as well. And the biggest raises you're going to ever see in the history of this channel, and that is fifth stimulus. And with that, thank you for joining me, because the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the bacon is there. We just need a little bit of coffee brewing, and we're all ready to rock and roll. And subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Mornings Countdown at 7 a.m., then New Mornings LA at 9 a.m. live on air. Subscribe, like this video, and get ready for the second half starting right now. Nancy Pelosi calling the vote on your wonderful recon in the House of Representatives. It's deliciousness. Where are we going? Where are we going? So the vote will be called by the end of this week, but as early as today. For an incredible recon, and it will pass the House. That deal hatched by Nancy Pelosi over a week ago with the moderate Democrats and the progressives, saying that they would vote in favor of the recon no later than the week of November 15th. even if they do not have the Congressional Budget Office report. That Congressional Budget Office report is now indicating that's not going to be done in totality by the end of the week. No worry. Several parts released every few days, 3 parts yesterday, 3 parts over the weekend. But the vote is still set, and that vote will happen this week as early as today, and that was the deal that they made. This incredible recon will pay you a lot of money, and what's important to understand is that we're looking at least $15,000, but it may be more. Why the number 15,000? Well, under third stimulus, viewers I initially told were going to get I told them they were going to get on average $15,000 from third stimulus. They got on average $45,000. The same programs that are under third stimulus are repeated under fourth stimulus. So imagine if the average viewer got $45,000 from third and the third programs are repeated again, then you would presume that these programs would pay out at least about $40,000, $45,000. They may. And that is before we get to the Senate side. Let's go over those incredible programs. We're going to start right now with the first one. It is paid leave, paid family leave, and paid medical leave. And how does it work and what is it? It is you have to stay home because of death, illness, or pregnancy or giving birth of a child somewhere in the household. It does not have to be you, just someone in the household. Now, let's say you do not work. Let's say you're a senior, but your son or daughter does work. Well, then you need to watch the video, because if the son and daughter is staying home from work to take you to the doctor, then they're going to get paid money. You need to show them how to get this money. How much is it? It's a lot. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 or more per year. How many weeks? Up to 4 weeks. Wow, that's a lot. It is a lot. That's $5,000 plus a year. And the best part of it is the eligibility. Everyone. All income levels. So $200,000 all the way down to $20,000, for example. W-2 at 1099. It's huge, because let's say if you look back on the last year, how many days did your son have to take you to the doctor this year? How many procedures have you had where someone had to stay home from work and take you to the procedure? Yes, this would now be covered. The second wonderful money in this recon is SALT. It's lifting the cap on the SALT deduction. What is this? When you go to pay your state taxes, you often may have a nice big tax burden or unfortunate tax burden. Let's say you pay $15,000 of state taxes. Well, when you go over a federal tax return, you can deduct that. Only, however, up to $10,000 under the Trump 2017 tax reform. Well, this wonderful recon changed that, raising the SALT cap to $72,500 of what you can deduct on state and local on your federal tax return. Great. They got $40 billion into this recon, and that $40 billion is for free job training. So now you can learn how to make meat bacon and be featured in opening credits. Yeah, there you go. It's very helpful, because especially when you look at fifth stimulus. When you look at fifth stimulus, they're trying to keep your benefit check still coming in the mail and allow you to go back to work if you want to. So a lot of seniors want to go back to work just a few hours a week, and now you can and get free job training. Here comes the Medicaid gap fix. This is a biggie. What's happening? You're now going to get great prescription. You're now going to get great private insurance across the country. What's at issue with 12 holdout states, Republican governor states, where they did not want to pay for Obamacare? And so those 12 governor states, holdout states, now will get a workaround plan. That workaround plan will provide years of subsidized private insurance to low-income people in those states. It's incredible. Then we come to the best part of this recon, the $150 billion for housing, which includes repairs, low income, the weatherizing your home, the first-time home purchases, and also the rent, utilities, mortgage assistance as well. Now, this is where we take a step back to third stimulus. Why? Because third stimulus is still paying those sums of money. Third stimulus is still paying rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also SNAP. And so you absolutely need to get third stimulus, and I'm going to cover it right now. First, here's an overview. You qualify. You qualify. It's available for everyone. If you're in a red state, blue state, if you're old, if you're young, if you work, if you don't work, if you're behind on your bills, you're not behind on your bills, if you are senior, not a senior, on benefits, not on benefits, you qualify. We're going to go over all this big sums of money, and the average viewer of this channel has gotten $45,000. It's great because you have bills. So do not jump in the live chat and say, I'm waiting for fourth stimulus to pass because I need rent paid. No, you can get it under third stimulus starting right now. Let me show you this incredible sums of money. And we're going to start first with the rent. Let's look at this graphic. This is about 3 months ago. Viewers were getting $20,000 to $30,000 for rent then. They're now getting about $40,000 for rent. So I'm going to go over the details about that rent starting right now. First, where do you get it? You're going to reach out to 6 places. Now I'm going to make this very clear. You reach out to all 6. You don't reach out to one and call it a day. You reach out to all 6. You must reach out to the 6. Why? Because each has different eligibility. One may say no. You continue to reach out because they have different eligibility. Those 6 places are City Hall, City House Authority, County Hall, County House Authority, State Hall, and State House Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. If you've gotten rent before, you can get it again. Many viewers on this channel have gotten 3 rounds of rent under third stimulus. You want to put applications in as many places as you can. Don't put in one application called a day. You can get rent paid from different programs, multiple programs. So you can get rent from 2 or 3 different locations as well. Mortgage assistance, you do it the same way. All right, let's turn then to utilities. Here's some utilities. Utilities have really gone up. I mean, here are the numbers 3 months ago. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000, but that was before the heating oil prices sort of kicked in a few weeks ago. So heating oil is now up 59% year to date, says the Consumer Price Index number released last week. So get that utilities. You're going to reach out to all your utility companies. So if you have 5, reach out to 5. Then you want to get SNAP food. Don't wait for fourth stimulus to pay for your holiday meal. Get SNAP to pay for it right now. What is SNAP? You get it from Department of Agriculture, DOA, and go get that money right now. And how much does it pay? A fortune. These were the numbers 3 months ago. Now they're upwards of $25,000 like Mark's brother-in-law. Everyone's benefits have gone up 25% lifetime starting in October. And yes, Mark's brother-in-law will be getting $250,000 over the next few years, over the next 10 years because of this channel. Here you go. Get combos. Get as many different items as you can. These people got a few. Mark had gotten $50,000. He didn't call it a day at $50,000. Oh, no. He went back and got more. Mark is now at about $100,000 from third stimulus. Keep on getting items across the board because the more items you get, the better. And let me give you an example of one person that embodies the true spirit of how you get this money from third stimulus. His name is Johnny. Johnny was one of 3 people who started on watching this channel on a particular day. I mean, he was a longtime viewer, but he tuned in one Monday with 3 other viewers. By Wednesday, he and the other 2 viewers, 3 of them, all got $45,000 from third stimulus. They didn't stop then. Johnny kept on pushing. And while on Wednesday he had been approved by 3 or 4 programs, by Saturday he was approved by 7 programs. How much did he end on Saturday with? $80,000. Johnny got 7 programs, which funded him $80,000. He got more than 1 rent program, which shows you can overlap them. Why is Johnny's story important? Because he made the phone call not to at least 7 places, but probably to about 15 places. And those multiple places brought him that $80,000. Now, what's also important about the story is what happened thereafter. He then turned to his family members, very smart people that love him to death, and he said, I just got this $80,000 from third stimulus. And they said, third stimulus, that's that $1,400 stimulus check. What $80,000? I never heard about this in broadcast media. He said, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. And they got it. They got $15,000 each that week, 2 of them. And there you go. What does that embody? Broadcast media doesn't cover this. Print media doesn't cover this. Cable TV doesn't cover this. Cable news TV doesn't cover it. They don't cover it. And so a lot of people don't know this money exists. It exists. It's for you. It's there. And there's no reason to wait for 4 stimulus to become a law to get rent, utility, mortgage assistance, SNAP, food, clothing, small appliances. This is some of the nonprofit stuff. Small window repairs and things like that covered when they're covered already under third stimulus and the nonprofits. That money is available right now. So go get that money. And let's go back into fourth stimulus right now. So as we go back into fourth stimulus right now, that's important to understand is that the money is repeated again in the fourth stimulus of those rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. And then there's new items on top of that. First one, Home repairs, low-income community, wonderful. Likely a grant, just a cash grant to make the repairs. Weatherize your home. Yes, they got that in there. Not likely home, low income, just all types of homes. And then they got in there the first-time home purchases. First home, we're going to see how they define those words as soon as it becomes law. Very, very important. What's important is that it's believed to not be just for low-income community. Then they got in there more money. They got in there the wonderful home health care, $150 billion for elders and people on disabilities. They got in the $550 check for the Pell Grant recipients. And then the big surprise, $12,500 for purchase of electric vehicle made by a union shop. That's Ford, Chrysler, GM, or any of their subsidiaries. Now, there's a lot of stuff for car stuff floating around. I had heard a report, I'm going to try to see if I can confirm it. I do not know if it's true or correct, that said under the infrastructure, there is a new credit that says if you buy a car, you can deduct 30% off of it if it was purchased by your business. Child nutrition, $65 per month per child that they're not in school, which brings us to one of the best provisions of this entire recon. It's the cheaper medication. Big win. Medicare, when it rolled out, could not negotiate the prices of prescription medication with Big Pharma. So for 20 years, Big Pharma just stuck it to them. Now it's over. This incredible recon starts day one with 20 medications dramatically slashed because of good faith negotiations that'll have to undergo between Medicare and Big Pharma. These are the biggest and most expensive medications. Arthritis, diabetes, and also cancer medications. For example, insulin will go from $900 a dose per month approximately to about $35 a dose. It's a huge game changer. Then the number of medications will grow to 30 of them by the year 2028. They cannot increase the price per year more than the inflation rate, and if they do, they are penalized, Big Pharma. That's Medicare Part B and Part D, which tees us up beautifully into the Senate parliamentarian. The Senate parliamentarian will determine whether that penalty provision can stay in there. GOP leaders say the penalty provision penalizing Big Pharma for any rate increase higher than inflation after this becomes law cannot be done by recon. So the Senate parliamentarian, that's her job. Her job is to look at the rules of the Senate and determine whether a provision can stay in there or out. What else is going to be looked at by her? Immigration reform. In there, likely to come out. She's previously ruled it cannot go in there. And then we have paid leave, real big battleground. But we have Senator Toomey and others saying a lot of stuff is very questionable in this recon. If it's questionable, we're bringing her in for as many things as we want for her to overview. What's important to understand is that when you look at this recon, I say 15,000, that's the House bill that will be passed this week. Over the Senate we go, and the senators will add a lot of other checks in there that brings this price tag even higher. Bernie Sanders says the best bill since the 60s, but there's a lot of major gaps in there. When asked if you're going to add provisions, he said, of course I am. Ron Wyden says it's not done to the Senate acts, and he says that there's a significant amount of work to be done. Senator Coons, Senator Stabenow, Senator Schumer, and also Senator Murphy all say they expect changes to happen on the Senate side when it lands in the Senate. Which brings us then back to grabbing that pen, put down the coffee, because now we got some more checks to go over. Very exciting. Pre-kindergarten checks, 1 year. That's a front-end check. Childcare, back end. Then the child tax credit. This is $3,600 approximately per year. And then the earned income tax credit, back end, for my essential workers. Home health care, either a check or a covered benefit. And then the hearing services, that like the hearing aid, either a check or a covered benefit. We went over the home part of this recon. But also, then there's that $65 per month per child when they're not in school, the $550 Pell Grant check, which causes us to question, okay, what's next that could go in the recon? Certainly in the move underway to put an MSC in there, but what else does Bernie want to put in there? He wants to put in there at least 3 provisions: lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, dental, and also vision. He says our wealthiest country, but people do not have teeth in their mouth and cannot see. So let's go over the nuances. First, lowering the Medicare eligibility age, yes. He wants to put it in there. It's currently 65. He wants it at 55, Bernie Sanders. The wonderful Bob Casey, he wants it at 60. Then dental and vision. Dental and vision were last in this recon before removed with checks. Dental was an $850 check to you in the mail if you're a senior person on Medicare. But it got removed. $850 not enough, says Bernie. I agree. That only is like sort of a cleaning and a mini procedure. Not enough for anything major. And he wants full benefits, 10 years, if not full benefits, 3 years. When we get to vision, this is easy. Eye exam pair of frames per year. That's what Bernie wants. Pretty easy. Just get it done. Send out the check every year. $50 for an eye exam in Costco and a pair of frames for $100. Which has triggered one of the most fascinating live chat discussions ever on this channel, which I call affectionately frame wars. Frame wars has been heating up with crazy valuations on what people are paying for their eyeglasses. It's just crazy. It started with one viewer, very nice viewer who sent my frames, just the frames, not the prescription, just the frames. My daughter buys my frames. She pays $450 for them, and Medicare should pay for that. I said, yeah, Medicare is not Fendi. Medicare is not Cartier. $450 a frame? Yeah, Medicare does not go shopping for frames on the Champs-Elysees in Paris, France. That is just woo. And said, I'm not much into designer stuff. Nor is Medicare. So, like minds think alike. It's just expensive. Now, that has caused other people to get into the frame war discussion. One viewer yesterday said something like, well, I have a very nice optometrist guy I've been going to many years. Frame eye exam. I have confusing eyes. Confusing eyes. That's a very strange expression. It's like, I have very confusing eyes. I have very confusing eyes. My whole eye exam and the prescription and the frames are like $900. I said, what? Everyone just sort of lost it as like $900. And you need to find it. You're not seeing eye to eye with an optometrist. You need to go to another eye doctor. That is just a crazy price. Needless to say, I appreciate all your insight in frame wars, and I expect frame wars to continue today across the board. Well, there's several items that some of the numbers don't line up in this recon. I show the child tax credit $60,000 or less eligibility for the household income, not $150, and I show more money for housing. I show it at $175 currently. In-home healthcare, I show it more at $200 billion. And there you go. In a second, I'm going to go over my commentary about fourth stimulus and third stimulus, but let's turn over just for a second to student loan debt forgiveness. Student loan debt forgiveness, the Democrats have an offer of $10,000 to be forgiven of student loan debts by executive order for everyone. They should take it. It's been over a year now, practically, and the president offered did not offer $50,000. Democrats wanted $50,000. He's not moving. I don't think he will ever move on that number, personally. I think it's 10, and that's it. And I have recorded 10 for a while. So Democrats should take it. It's the holiday season. I mean, $10,000 would be absolutely wonderful to be forgiven. He's previously forgiven student loan debt by people who became disabled after graduation, people who went to work in the nonprofit sector, and people who went to work in the public sector. This would come by executive order. Fifth stimulus is very important. Fifth stimulus is very important because your COLA benefits are kicking in. If you got in the letter, your benefits are going up 5.9% next year based upon COLA. That's if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and all benefits. But not enough. Why? Because your benefits have been tied to COLA all these years, and COLA doesn't move. Before the pandemic, prices of stuff was going up, and COLA was flat, and your benefits didn't go up. Then when the pandemic hit, prices went up, your benefits did not go up. After the pandemic, now we have inflation running away, and you have 5.9% increase? Yeah, don't cut it. That's why they want to do fifth stimulus. Raise your benefits up one time to get you caught up to a normal number. Then apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark's inflation. They'd apply in December 2022 and every December thereafter. So if inflation continues to go up 3% every year, you'll continue to go up an additional 3% every year. Remember, these numbers add up. They don't replace. You add one, then you go up another, and you never step down. Then remove the asset cap, and remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? Become a member. The link is under the video to get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It comes from the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is totally free. You should sign up for the LA alert system, which is under the video. It's at news.la.com/alerts. The membership newsletter features all the big money you can get under third stimulus. That's how viewers are getting big sums of money doing it themselves. It features the 6 places you reach out to. It features the 5 nonprofits you reach out to. It features the keywords you're supposed to say. It features also the importance of that Treasury $13 billion cash infusion for rent sent out just a few weeks ago. Learn about that before you make the phone call. It also features all the other sums of money across the board. Get that newsletter today and become a member. And with that, we go into the final moments of this video and my commentary about what's going on with third and also with fourth stimulus. There's a new expression I brought on this channel yesterday, and I sort of like it. And what is that expression? DNQ. What's a DNQ? A person who says, I do not qualify for this, or I don't qualify for anything. And DNQ is a pervasive falsehood that some people default to. My concern is not making DNQs become believers. My focus is focusing on people who do not get distracted or discouraged by seeing a DNQ in the chat. What is a DNQ? A DNQ first manifested themselves in fall a year ago this week, in fall of 2020. For example, was be on air and I would be saying, Johnny got this money from Michigan for rent, and Sarah got this money from Michigan from this organization for rent in Michigan, and then I'd go over to Missouri, and then I'd have like 5 people that got the same item from different places in St. Louis. And then someone would jump in the live chat and say, there's no money in Missouri. There's no money in Michigan. And it's like, I just told you where to get the money in the live chat. I mean, I'm literally in the live chat and I see your comment and they're saying it to me. And like, did you not hear me? And what's strange about that is it's still pervasive to this day. It's still pervasive today. And some people still will do that. They will say there is nothing anywhere in my state for anyone. They don't care. Blah, 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 blah. Dramatics. They're DNQ. And I can't make them believers. If they want to be a DNQ, they can be a DNQ. Why are they a DNQ? Because one, they either are lazy or they know it requires an effort to pick up the phone and they don't want to pick up the phone. I guess that's both lazy. No, I'm so sorry. They're either lazy or they have not listened to the whole video. And laziness starts with someone just saying, I don't qualify. And when do we see this manifest itself? We see it manifest ourselves when people are talking about fourth stimulus. And they're saying, get this fourth stimulus done to send out MSCs to my bank account right away because I cannot make rent, because I cannot get food on the table, because I want a holiday meal. I can't afford a holiday meal, because I'm about to be evicted, because I can't pay my mortgage, because I need clothing, because I need small appliances. I'm like, wait a second. All this stuff is available to be paid on a third stimulus. It's been available to be paid on a third stimulus since it became a law in like February. People are on third rounds of rent payments on this channel as viewers. So I see someone saying that, I think to myself, either they didn't listen to the video, or they did listen to the video and they just don't really want to make the effort. They just sort of want things automatic and live. And you can't convince someone like that. My concern is the other type of person, the person who is in the same town or the same county or the same state as them and may be in the live chat and see their comments saying, I'm not going to make a phone call because that other person just said there's nothing in my state. And so maybe there is nothing in my state. I'm not going to make the phone call. And that's what I'm worried about, is that other person is going to be discouraged potentially by seeing that comment. So if you're in the live chat, I want you to get the money. I want you to get the money. If you see a DNQ, I want you to zone out the DNQ. Ignore the DNQ, because there will always be DNQs. There are DNQs for third stimulus and there's DNQs for fourth stimulus. Let's compare. Third stimulus, it's the most obvious situation. Third stimulus, rent. I don't qualify for rent because they don't have it in my city. And usually when we talk about the DNQ for rent, it is a person who's made one phone call and called it a day. They made one phone call. I called Jerry at City Hall. He said, sorry. Okay, so I'm not calling anywhere else. I said, there's 6 places you call. Did you call 6? No, I called Jerry at City Hall. He said nothing. So I'm done. Okay. I can't convince that person to make 6 phone calls. I can't call the phone calls, make the phone calls for the person. But if that is what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. You don't want to default and hear that and believe that person when they say they made 1 phone call, because you know better. You know you have to make 6 phone calls. Next, there are people who say that that they heard something or saw something, and that's the eligibility zone for everything, and it's just wrong. They either heard it wrong in the first place, or or that one place was right and they didn't look anywhere else. You don't have to be behind on the rent. You don't have to have suffered COVID and been inflicted with the COVID disease. You don't have to be in a blue state. You don't have to be employed. You don't have all these strange stories. And I don't know. Trust me, I've been doing this for over a year, and I've been seeing them for over a year. The same stories just repeat themselves. Again, I can't convince the DNQ to do the right thing. What I can do is help the person who is a new viewer or has not gotten this money to ignore those people. Then when we turn to forced stimulus, it becomes a little bit more pervasive and a little bit more damaging to other people, those DNQs. Because the DNQs, when it comes to forced stimulus, says, I don't qualify for anything under forced stimulus, so I just want an MSC because I don't qualify for anything. Send me lots of checks, $2,000 for 24 months. I need $32,000 of MSCs to buy a new Harley Davidson. They've actually said that. They've actually said that. And again, that is the damage of a DNQ. The damage of a DNQ is to tell someone, is to have a room of people be told that that person doesn't qualify, and hence maybe you don't qualify. Untrue. The person does qualify, doesn't want to make the effort. The person does qualify. If you qualified for a stimulus check, you qualify these items. And that's what's important to understand. It's no place or time to put one instrument before another. And for the person who wants to put one instrument only as their focal point, and only one instrument, like an MSC, they're setting themselves up for trouble. They're setting themselves for financial despair. I've been saying that since probably August of 2020, when I first moved into the subject of this channel. I said, do not look at the landscape and say, I only want this one thing. It was in August 2020 where people saying Nancy needs to get that HEROES Act to Mitch, and Mitch needs to sign it because I need a stimulus check right now because it's August 2020. And I said, Mitch is a Republican. Mitch is going to take Nancy's bill and throw it in the garbage can. And there's other money available out there to get it right now. And that's what happened. And I stepped in and I got people $250,000 for their incredible bills during the holiday. It changed their livelihood. It changed their livelihood because it wasn't just their current bills, it was rent to the future, like Tyrone, who got for his family out of Boston $15,000 of rent from October, November, all the way to almost February, March. Then got meals paid for, got his entire holiday in the thick of the pandemic was wonderful. While other people were just sort of sitting around and looking at Mitch saying, when are you going to call the vote on the HEROES Act? He never called the vote on the HEROES Act. It's remained in the wastebasket permanently. So you cannot look at one thing and put everything into that event, because that's financial dependency. Financial dependency sets yourself up for trouble. When you look at the household, you have certain bills, and the more bills you can pay, the better it is. Get that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, clothing, SNAP, all these items, get them paid right now because they're available, and you can get multiple rounds of the money. The reason why I bring Johnny up as an example is because he's the opposite of a DNQ. He saw that he got 4 items and he got $45,000. He wasn't happy with that. He wanted more money. He was the opposite of DNQ. He's not, I don't qualify. He is, I qualify for a lot more. I want to get a lot more. So he went and got 7 items. 80,000. Why do I use his example? Not the 80,000, but because he got 7 items, which means he had to make at least 15 phone calls. I mean, he had to make a lot of phone calls. He kept on pushing. If you can pick up the phone and call the 6 letters, Casey Coons, Warren Sanders, Schumer, and Sanders, and do that on your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then you can do your Thursday and Friday for picking up the phone and calling to get the rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. Allocate. You can also not only advocate, but also allocate time to get those big sums of money across the board. We're going to have an exciting week, and I'm very, very excited for you. It is where people come in with a narration of a D&Q that ultimately I can't make them believers, but I can certainly protect everyone else from not focusing on the D&Q's fake statements. And over the last year and a half, every time I've seen a D&Q and every time I've asked them to explain to me what's their situation, it was not only is there money available, but the money was insanely available. And they just didn't want to try it. They just didn't want to do it. And for whatever reason, I don't know, they have a yes, no. And when they get one phone call and one no, they call it a day. And that's not how life is. That's not how life is. It is about pushing. It's about advocating. And in this case, it's advocating for your wallet. You can do it. So what's important to understand as we go into a big morning is that vote on that recon will happen this week, but there's thousands of dollars of money for you to get right now. Third Stimulus is back on force on this channel, and you have responded beautifully. I'm very excited. When I brought it back in force on the weekend, last weekend, I said, I have a sense no one's trying to get this money. The biggest money is gotten when you make the effort. You don't have the volunteers do it for you because you're too lazy. You make the effort. The volunteers are there to help you. But at least I get a benchmark of how many people are trying to get this money. And over the weekend, volunteers had gotten no one contacting them for days and days and days. Now they're getting people contacting them. It shows the message is working. And with that, continue to join me with Overnight's Crypto currently playing on this channel. Then we got Mornings Countdown at 7 a.m. and then Mornings Live 9 a.m. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with LALATE.